Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Devil Hunter Ministry. I'm your host, Devil Hunter, and this is going to be about some doctrines and devils and seducing spirits that have been creeping around. And I'm going to start this off with going with Judaism, because Judaism pretty much is what precedes most things, so that's what I'm going to go with. So, and there is a wealth of things that have corruptions and twistings within the scripture. So I'm going to be here to help you to untwist the things that have been incorrectly taught, mistaught, and misled by a whole bunch of other ministers, or in this case, rabbis. Including the thing that there is actually not supposed to be any person on the face of the earth to be called rabbi. So, and I'll also give the scripture for that as well, but not for this video. In this video, we're going to be discussing the virgin birth of Christ as prophesied by Isaiah. So there are those who are teaching that Isaiah's prophecies are actually teaching about Isaiah's time for his stuff that's going on. They're placed for the contextual versions of it, but for the contextual things of it is taken out of context and recontexted. So I'm going to teach you what is being said, and I'm going to untwist that for you to show you what is actually being foretold by the prophecies within the book itself using the scriptures. And you're more than welcome to get out your holy scriptures and to follow with it, and also to check it out for yourself to see what is truth. So don't sit there and try to believe me, believe the scriptures. So thank you guys for coming in, and thank you for watching this. Let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and start this off at Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. I'm going to give you the entire passage of the scripture first, and then I'm going to also teach you what it means by line, context by context. In other words, intercontextual, because there's multiple different things within this passage to actually talk about. So because of that, I'm going to be also turning this video into a series of things. So it's going to be it's going to be each individual things. So that would help you guys out by each individual video to actually unpack that which is going on within this. So in this video, I'm going to give you the entire scripture, as I mentioned before, and then I'm going to unpack the first part of it. So now as far as the scripture goes itself, Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive, and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and to choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil, to choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. Now those are very two important passages. So now to help you understand what's going on here, there are certain other people, certain quote-unquote rabbis, who teach that this is about Isaiah during Isaiah's time alone. And that's not the only scripture. In fact, I'll go ahead and go with another one as well, because I'm going to help you unpack this as well. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David, upon his kingdom, to order it, to establish it with judgment and with justice, from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So there you go. Now you got the full passages of what's being taught falsely by other rabbis, and this will be untwisted for you so you can understand what this is saying, where it's coming from, the times in which it's to happen, and to let the prophecies unfold. So now I've given you the full picture. Now it's time to break this picture down and see the specific pieces of the puzzles. So you have the full frame, and now I'm going to give you the pieces. So Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. Therefore the Lord shall give you a sign. Okay, that's a general thing. We can go with that. Behold, now here's the first part. a virgin shall conceive. Now let's back up to that part real quick. Behold, a virgin. So we're going to start off with that one there. Well, for most of the world, they understand a virgin to be exactly what it means. Of course, in the scripture, sometimes it's ambiguous and sometimes it's actually directly straightforward. So to unravel this, to untwist it for you to understand what this particular thing means, it has been taught that the word virgin actually does not mean someone who has not been touched. In other words, someone who has not had coitus. So some people will ambiguously direct it towards that as to what a virgin means is being someone who's just young. Well, that is incorrect. In this case, the word virgin actually does mean someone who has been untouched, has not had coitus. And I'm being nice about that word. And if you want me to be straightforward about what that word means, well, I'll just probably tell you in a later video. But for now, we're just going to stick with coitus. If you really want to, look it up for yourself. You don't know exactly what that word means. Or you can just watch the TV series called Big Bang Theory. But in here, the word virgin does mean someone who has not been touched by either man or woman. So if it helps you to understand that better, then there you go. I don't know how YouTube would handle me saying or not saying certain words, so I'm going to do what I can to be as friendly as I possibly can. So, on that part there, it is commonly taught by rabbis that this virgin would be Isaiah's wife. Well, would this be Isaiah's wife, or is this a prophecy prophesying about someone else? So, let's go ahead and go to Isaiah chapter 8, verse 3, because that will be talking about Isaiah's wife. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 3, and I went unto the prophetess, talking about Isaiah's wife, and she conceived. So, in there, we can see that it has nothing to do with a virgin. It says nothing about a virgin. The only other ambiguous term for a virgin would be someone who's young, like a maiden type thing. Someone who's unmarried. So, as far as the Old Testament way of saying that, this says nothing about a prophetess who is a virgin. There you go. You don't believe me? That's cool. It's fine. Look it up for yourself. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 3. Here's the scripture. Read it for yourself. Did I read wrong? Am I seeing it wrong? Or is what I'm seeing actually what the scripture itself says? So we can plainly see there that this person, this woman of Isaiah, is a prophetess. It does not state that this prophetess is a virgin. And also at the same time, that also in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, says, behold, a virgin shall conceive. It did not say a prophetess shall conceive. It said a virgin, not a prophetess. So by that right there, we know that this prophetess is possibly not a virgin. And also the virgin is possibly not a prophetess. So to say that this prophetess is that virgin who shall conceive would be preposterous. So now, who would this be? So again, going to directly what the meaning of the word virgin in this is. Virgin in this case means a woman not touched by man. They have not had coitus. So where can we find this at? Luke chapter 1, verse 34. Luke chapter 1, verse 34, then said Mary unto the angel, how shall this be, seeing I know not a man? And this should be rather obvious what that means. But for those of you who may not know what this means she has not had coitus, has not been touched by man. That's exactly what that means. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Seeing I know not a man. So Mary here is the virgin. She's not a prophetess, but she is a virgin. So, in order to know what to clarify biblically what this means, seeing I know not a man, let's check out some other scriptures as well that will back this up. Judges chapter 11. Verses 37 through 40. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and to bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. And he said, Go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions, and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months, she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow, and he had vowed. And she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Japheth of the Gileadite for 4 days of the year. So virginity, in other words, had no kid. She had no coitus. She did not know man. Not enough for you? Okay. Well, where there are 2 or 3 witnesses, there's something about that, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 4. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, and also verse 25. Verse 1, And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived. Boom, there you go. And bare Cain. Not enough for you. Okay, let's do that again. Verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. In other words, to know the woman, in other words, is to have coitus with her. For a woman to know man, she had to had coitus with that man. So, in other words, to be as explicitly friendly as possible, they had sexual relations with each other. There you go. They had coitus. So, once a woman knows man, or is known by man, and once a man knows a woman, that means they had or are having coitus. So, and that right there is where the virgin conceives. So, there you go. Excuse me. And that's what it means for a virgin in this context. So, there you go. Now we know what that means, and that has now been explained away, and the twisted versions of what everyone else has been teaching you has now been untwisted, and now you know the truth for yourself. You're welcome. Boom. And now I want to thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I thank you for the love, support, and as always, love and peace. Till next we meet. Shabbat Shalom.